What if I told you that silence can slowly unravel the mind? That isolation, though invisible, can scar deeper than any wound? In this video, you'll uncover the hidden truth of what happens to your brain when it's cut off from human connection. By the end, you'll not only understand the science behind loneliness, but also discover insights that could change the way you see yourself and the people around you forever. Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss new psychology insights. Imagine living in a world where time itself begins to blur. The clock no longer guides you, and the rhythm of day and night fades into one endless stretch. This is what prolonged isolation does. It quietly dissolves the anchors of your reality. At first, it may feel like silence, but soon, silence turns into noise. Restless thoughts, surges of anxiety, sudden anger, irrational impulses. Scientists have long known that the human brain is wired for connection. Every conversation, every touch, every shared glance acts as a stabilizing force, like gravity holding us steady. Without it, the balance shifts. Stress hormones rise sharply, and if the isolation continues, that stress becomes chronic. What begins as unease soon mutates into something far heavier. The body starts to falter. Sleep becomes fragile. Time feels distorted. The heart races unpredictably. Dizziness, headaches, and hypersensitivity creep in, and even appetite fades. Stress carves its signature into the stomach, making food lose its taste and weight slip away. The body whispers the first warnings, but the real storm brews inside the brain. Deep within the limbic system, the amygdala, the very center of fear, fires uncontrollably. Fear, stress, and paranoia magnify until every thought feels like a threat. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that reasons, plans, and makes moral judgments, begins to shrink. Slowly, logic weakens, and emotion takes control. The balance tips away from rational thought, plunging the mind into a flood of raw, unchecked feelings. This is why isolation can lead to spirals of depression, obsessive thinking, or even suicidal ideation. For some, reality itself fractures into hallucinations and delusions. Without the steady mirror of others, what researchers call social reality testing, our perceptions lose their grounding. We can no longer tell what is rational and what is simply fear echoing back at us. And even when the cell door opens, the story does not end. Studies reveal that people who endure solitary confinement are 3 times more likely to develop post-traumatic stress disorder. They often return to the world carrying invisible scars, anxiety in ordinary moments, paranoia in safe spaces, difficulty focusing, and an aching struggle to reconnect with others. Isolation doesn't just vanish when freedom returns. It reshapes the very architecture of personality. Yet, this isn't just science. It is also society. The United Nations and countless human rights groups classify prolonged isolation as torture, and still, in many countries, it remains common practice. In the United States alone, more than 120,000 prisoners lived in solitary confinement in 2019, often for 22 to 24 hours a day in cells barely larger than a closet. What was once imagined as a path to reflection and penitence became, in truth, a silent punishment more brutal than any visible chain. But contrast this with nations like Norway, where prisons emphasize rehabilitation, education, and human connection. There, fewer people return to crime, fewer descend into mental collapse, and the rates of reoffending are among the lowest in the world. The lesson is striking. We heal not by tearing people away from one another, but by strengthening the bonds that make us human. The science, the psychology, and the stories all converge on a single truth. Human beings are not designed to stand alone in the void. Connection is not a luxury, it is survival. And when it is stripped away, the mind itself begins to unravel. And so, after everything we've uncovered, one truth stands unshakable. The human mind is not built for isolation. Strip away the presence of others, and you strip away the very fabric that holds reality together. The brain begins to stumble, the heart grows restless, and the soul aches in silence. But this darkness also reveals something profound. It shows us how deeply we are wired for connection. A single conversation, a gentle touch, the sound of someone's laughter. These are not small details of life. They are the lifelines that protect our sanity and shape who we are. Without them, we drift into confusion. With them, we find clarity, strength, and hope. Solitary confinement exposes the cruelest edge of loneliness, but it also highlights the priceless value of human bonds. It reminds us that healing does not happen in silence, it happens together. Rehabilitation, growth, even redemption itself, all flow through connection. So, as you walk away from this video, carry this thought with you. Every person you meet is not just part of your world. They are part of your survival. Cherish those connections. Nurture them, because they are the strongest medicine the brain will ever know. Because in the end, the greatest danger isn't the silence itself. It's forgetting that we were never meant to face life alone. Hold on to the people who remind you of who you are. They are not just part of your story. They are the reason your mind stays whole. Before you go, ask yourself this. What if your crush is not just about love, but a mirror reflecting your deepest fears, desires, and hidden wounds? The next video, Unmasking Attraction, what your crush reveals about your deepest self, is appearing on your screen right now. Don't miss it, because it may change the way you understand yourself forever. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the truths your mind has been waiting to discover.